How much does the average Thanksgiving meal cost in 2024? Well, there's some good news. If you live anywhere but California, it's actually down. But of course, it's up here. We'll give you the details on how much a typical Thanksgiving meal costs and what's driving the cost increase here in California. Plus, we'll share 5 things we're thankful for in the 2024 California elections. I'm Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California, and I want to wish everyone a very happy and joyous Thanksgiving. In today's show, I want to cover the cost of living because we've been through a really rough time here in the United States with Biden's inflation, where costs have skyrocketed for the last several years. Thankfully, we're seeing a little bit of relief nationwide. But not here in California. Costs continue to soar across the board by almost every single household budget item. Now, nationally, a study just came out where the good news across the country is seen in the cost of a more affordable Thanksgiving meal. Let me share that with you. And it's actually here covered in the desert sun in Palm Springs. And really, at least they give a little bit of notation in the headline that's accurate. It says the average cost of a Thanksgiving dinner is cheaper this year unless you live in the West. Can we just modify that? Unless you live in California? Because that's really what we're talking about here. California is the West, all right? In a moment, I'll explain why the California prices are so bad, but it says here, the average cost of Thanksgiving dinner for 10 people is cheaper this year than in 2023. Unfortunately, the downtick in price doesn't extend to America's West. Read California. But then it says something that I don't think strikes me as very credible, and maybe it won't strike you as credible either, because we do live in California. It says a Thanksgiving dinner featuring turkey and some classic sides costs $67.05. In the West in 2024. It's the highest price regionally. It's up 5% from the previous year. Okay, $67.05. For a average dinner. Now, what does that consist of? They say the average dinner is for 10 people. Okay, 10 people? You can feed 10 people for $67.05? I'm not buying it. And they say nationally, you can feed 10 people for $58.08. So, again, I'm not seeing 10 people being served for just $58.08. I'm assuming what they're claiming is that all the ingredients are fractional, but that's not really practical. You don't, buy just 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. You have to buy the full set of seasonings. So I don't think that this is realistic to say that you can, serve 10 people for $58 nationally or $67.05 in California, certainly for California. Anyway, the article does not go into why things are higher in California. It just says people in the West face higher price tag when providing their loved ones a meal composed of turkey, stuffing, sweet potato rolls, peas, cranberries, a veggie tray, and a pumpkin pie with whipped cream. So that's what they costed out. So they did turkey, stuffing, sweet potatoes, rolls, peas, cranberries, a veggie tray, and then a pumpkin pie, and then whipped cream. Again, $67 for 10 people for all of that. Not sure you could possibly do that. I could see more like closer to $100, but it is what it is. Why are things more expensive in California? Well, everything is more expensive in California. The supermarkets have higher labor costs because of unionization and, of course, the increased minimum wage. We also know that the cost of retail space for those supermarkets much higher in California because of a variety of cost factors. We have people stealing things, so the shrinkage factor is passed on to consumers in California. We also know that the price of electricity, the price of gas, transportation, taking all those food items to the store, much more expensive. We also know that animal regulation is different in California than any other state in the country. We passed an initiative several years ago regulating the types of chickens and turkeys and bacon and pig products that can be sold in California based upon regulation of the suppliers' size of their pens. Because, of course, we wouldn't want to be cruel to animals that we literally raise to kill. Again, the liberal mindset, I've never understood it. But we're paying for those extra costs so that we can raise turkeys to intentionally kill them. But while they're being raised, by golly, we're going to make sure that they've got a comfortable lifestyle. And all that comes at a cost. But that's California. California has those extra regulations. So obviously a meal that features a turkey is going to be more expensive in California because of that absurd regulation that we apply. But all these things, all in, show that California has a cost of living crisis. It's something that we continue to address here at Reform California. It is the top issue that people in the state are concerned about because they're getting crushed by taxes, mandates, regulations, all sorts of factors that we just discussed and more that cause the cost of their livelihood, their lives to go up. And their livelihoods are basically sapped and diverted to waste. The Transparency Foundation has a neat report that I want to point out to you. And it's showing the annual cost of living penalty for living in California. This year, and this report just came out a month ago, study shows living in California imposes a $28,037.28 cost of living penalty for a typical middle-class family. And that's compared to the cost of living if you were paying the average costs in other states. So think about that Thanksgiving meal. What did they say? It was $58 nationally, but $67 in California. That's a $9 difference for just one meal. Again, for 10 people, 90 cents each. But again, I don't buy that nonsense. But $9 is pretty significant. But take a look at this. When you take $9 and divide that by 58.8 cents, that's a 15.5% cost increase, a cost premium in California for your Thanksgiving meal versus the nationwide average. Again, assuming these numbers are correct for a family of 10, which I don't. But the proportion is probably correct. 15% higher costs for food. Here, the Transparency Foundation said that the food costs were about 10% higher for a grocery bill. So still, you're talking about a 10 to 15% cost premium, a cost penalty, if you buy your food and groceries in California versus what you'd pay in the typical state anywhere else. All of that adds up. And the Transparency Foundation says it's everything from gas to housing costs to water costs to utilities, childcare, car insurance. Everything costs more in California. Here at Reform California, we're thankful, though, for 5 things because we're trying to address these issues by imposing political change on a broken system. The 5 things that I'm thankful for in this 2024 election, and many of you who've been supporters and members of Reform California, thank you for helping us fight these battles and achieve results. Number 1, I'm thankful that in 2024, Californians helped preserve Donald Trump's Republican majority in the House. There were 7 toss-up seats in California. It looks right now like we're losing 2 of them. We may lose a third, but I think it probably will be limited to 2. But those extra 5 seats are the margin of the House majority. Right now, the House majority hangs in the balance by just 3 seats, assuming we win this other seat that is in Central Valley. So those 5 seats were given by Californians who stuck it out in this blue state and fought and protected the House majority for Republicans by winning these target seats. So that's the first thing I'm thankful for. The second thing I'm thankful for is we picked up 3 seats in the state legislature. We haven't done that in over a decade. And we haven't done that in a presidential year in over 30 years, 3 decades since we've picked up more than 3 seats in a presidential year. So it is significant. Third, I'm thankful that I won a seat in the California State Legislature, the 75th Assembly District here in San Diego County. It allows me to go inside the belly of the beast and to start shaking up the system from behind closed doors. And yes, this show is going to be broadcast every day at 5 o'clock per usual, lifting the veil, showing you what's going on behind the scenes, exposing the broken system up there and challenging it to be accountable to you, the people. And we're going to have a whole lot of fun doing it. But the fact that I was able to withstand more than $3.5 million in dark money spending by both the left and the right trying to keep me out of the legislature, I'm grateful for my supporters who helped propel me to a landslide win in the 75th Assembly District. Thank you. And I will not let you down. Fourth, I'm thankful for the passage of Prop 36 in this election. Prop 36 made crime illegal again in our state, and it actually passed with 69% of the vote, and it passed in every single county, even in San Francisco. What that shows is that there's a hunger for change amongst Californians. It also shows that there's deep-rooted distrust and dissatisfaction by Californians with their government. 65% of Californians say that they believe the state is on the wrong track. And fifth, I am grateful that we did defeat a lot of tax increases in the 2024 election, and we also saved Prop 13 by defeating Proposition 5. Prop 5 we defeated. It would have made it easier for politicians to raise local taxes, ad valorem taxes, by lowering the threshold for approving a tax increase from 2/3 currently down to 55%. We beat Prop 5, and we are now able to, again, defend Prop 13 against the constant assault politicians, liberal tax and spend politicians have made against Prop 13 over the years. We were outgunned when it came to local tax increases, but we also were able to defeat a good number of them. So I appreciate the fact all of you helping us preserve Prop 13, defend it, and of course try to block tax increases on the local ballots. At Reform California, we're gearing up for our 2026 battles, and I encourage you to join our movement. In the comment section below, sound off on what you're thankful for politically this year. Obviously, I'm also thankful outside of California for President Trump going back into the White House. I'm so thankful for that. And it will impact us here positively in California with better federal policy, including a more secure border. But also, in addition to sounding off, go to our website, reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org. If you're not already on our list, sign up, first name, last name, email, phone, and zip code. This gives us an opportunity to keep you informed once a week with our newsletter as to what's going on with California news and politics, as well as please consider making a donation, a contribution, so that we can continue to fight to restore sanity here in California. Happy Thanksgiving. Sorry you're paying more for your turkey than anywhere else in the country, but we can do something about that by changing our corrupt and broken political system. Until next time, I'm Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.